And welcome back. Now today we're going to have a bit of a blitz on my multimeters, and as you can see, if we start from the leftmost multimeter right over there, yeah, this one here, that was my first one, and as we go right we'll sort of increase what I've had over the years, and indeed which ones of these are now replacing the one that went wrong a few months ago now, I guess. Unfortunately, we haven't got time to talk about that big thing over there that I normally keep in the corner. That's a bench multimeter, but it's pretty much the same as any other. So now, two of these multimeters have been supplied to me for evaluation. Two I just bought recently, and well, the one that doesn't work anymore is over here. This one here, that's the Bryman. So how do these all stack up? And I'll tell you, for starters, we're not going to do one of these let's test every range on every meter to see how it goes. I want to give a big shout out to PCB Way, PCB Prototype, the easy way. Now we're all familiar with their special PCBs, $5 for 10 pieces, but you can also have Flex PCBs, advanced PCBs, and of course you can order custom parts. Let's have a look at the CNC and 3D printing options they have. So it's 3D printing first. You upload your CAD files as you would do normally for a PCB, but then you select your materials and submit a quote request. Cnc Machining is pretty similar in the way you submit your files, upload your CAD files, select one of these many different types of material you can use, and of course there are also 27 different options for the surface finishing. Just look at a few of those there, from anodized, brushed, bead blast, spray painting, and there's more under that list as well. And finally there's sheet metal, laser cutting and bending, so let's have a look at that. Once again, you upload your CAD files, select the product you want to make it from, and specify a few of the parameters here about whether you want threads, for example. And you can always submit your request for a quote, and it's about 7 to 9 business days to get it done. Okay, that's PCB Way. Excellent service, good quality. Why don't you check them out now? And first up, we have this rather old. It's known as a moving coil meter, because there's actually a coil in here that gets energized by the stuff coming in down these ports here, and it moves that needle. I can't actually make it move because, well, it's not working at the moment. I've taken out the battery. In fact, yeah, there's a few loose screws and things there, but I'm sure that if I put it all back together again and put a new battery in, it'll probably work as well as it ever did. And therein lies the problem, really. Apart from the fact you've got these multiple scales, which you have to remember which one you're reading depending on where you've turned this, it's not exactly accurate, is it? If you're looking at, I don't know, let's say the ohms range up here, for example, how do you know where, I don't know, 12k is, for example? You'd have to sort of, you know, it's a bit more than 10, but not quite much as, oh, that is 12, is it? 10 to, oh, all right, forget 12. Bad example. Yeah, Well, whatever. What I do know is that this wasn't the easiest meter to use, but of course I did learn how to use it. And you see this mirror scale at the back here. You can just see the reflection of the meter in the needle in there. What you're supposed to do is turn it, or your head. I'll turn the meter so that it's lined up, and then you get an accurate reading on it. Put it this way, it was accurate enough for the sort of electronics I was doing when I was sort of, I don't know, 16 or whenever I bought this. I mean, this really is old. One problem with these sort of meters generally is that they would suck too much power in via these terminals, so that if you were measuring voltage, you might find it took, I don't know, I'm making this up now, but say it might take a whole milliamp to get the reading on here, which of course then could severely impact the reading you're getting. Yes, indeed, but that's all we had at the time. Now this one was quite good actually for the time, but we're talking, I'm guessing 1970s for this, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, let's put that one to one side, and well, let's see if a local museum wants it, shall we? Now, when I decided that moving coil meters were no longer for me, I actually bought this one. Now, I believe I bought this from Maplin. Maplin don't exist anymore in the UK. Well, actually, that's not true. They do have a website, but it's a different company now. This was the digital equivalent, I suppose, of that moving coil meter, and that was quite a step up. Because for one, it was accurate. Well, it gave the digits. Just how accurate it was, I don't think anybody really knew. Yeah, so as the digital multimeter, it was pretty good. It only had what's called 1900 count, so it'll only count to 19999 before it then, if it wanted to count to the next 2000, it'd have to move the decimal place one, so you'd lose accuracy that way, which is why all these things here like are in 2, 20, 2000, 200, 20 and so on, yeah, and all around here as well. So yeah, but as a multimeter it was okay for the time. Once again, probably early 80s maybe this one, something like that anyway, who knows, but it was okay. Now this is the one that went wrong. This is the Bryman BM257S, which I spent about $100 on this 2 years ago, and it was absolutely fine. I had no problems with it. It did everything it should have done. And then one day I came in and it said on the display here something like error calibration or something, which meant, well, it just wouldn't work anymore. It just refused to read a lot of the stuff. And I went on the internet, found some guide how to recalibrate it yourself. That didn't work because you needed loads of resistors and capacitors and stuff in a series of threes. You needed, you know, like 3 nanofarad, 30 nanofarad, 300 nanofarad, strange values, and I haven't got those anyway. I looked around for a company that would recalibrate it, but the cost of recalibration was a minimum of £30 and for £30 you can buy yourself a pretty decent multimeter, as I'll be showing you in just a minute. So I thought, well, 2 years for this for $100. I bought the $100 one because I thought it would last for a while, you know, like that moving coil one lasted me for years and years, that one. But no, it wasn't to be. So this one now basically sits in the cupboard waiting disposal, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, so let's put this one where it belongs, in the waste bin. Now, this is one of the replacements I bought for the one that went foobar. It's quite big and chunky, as you can see with my hands. My hands are gorilla hands, as you all know. This is even bigger. So, yeah, it's pretty good, actually. I like it. It stands up on a stand at the back. It has got rather too many options here. I'd have hoped it to be a little bit more auto-ranging than that, but it's fine. I've not actually had a problem with it. Some things though, you've got multiple features on it, so ohms, continuity and diodes all on that one there. I think if you hold that down and then turn it on, which is a bit of a two-handed operation. Right, now it might not go off now, we'll have a look, won't we? Yeah, so the diode thing I use quite a bit, so you get accurate current flowing through your LED. And yeah, continuity, of course, use all the time. There is continuity symbol up there, and no, that didn't stop the thing going off. There's probably, I'm pretty sure there is something that you can press and turn it on at the same time, and that light won't go off. As it happens, I can't remember the last time I used it with a light on, because in here it's good lighting, and although you are looking at this now with a funny sort of light from the video camera, it's a bit dark, but in real life it's not. It's just like any other multimeter, it works fine. So that's pretty good. I use that quite a bit. I'll leave it stood up, you see, on my workbench to one side, because then I've got quick and easy access to it. And that was, well, the price that you see on screen. That's what I bought it for. I don't know what it is today, but I'll leave the link down below. That's pretty good for a big chunky meter. And all these ranges that I've tested so far seem pretty accurate. I mean, more than accurate enough for me. Okay, hobbyist type use, even professional use, I'm sure. Now, this one was given to me by Kaiweets. I guess that's how you pronounce that. That's how I pronounce it anyway. It's fully auto-ranging. As you see, there's no rotary button here. It's all done on screen, and it just detects what it thinks you're measuring, which can cause a bit of confusion sometimes. I mean, at the moment, you can see that little pointer whizzing around. It goes, I don't know what you're trying to detect with these probes that aren't connected to anything yet. So it keeps whizzing between continuity, ohms and voltage, just trying to see what it can detect. Not a problem. Sometimes though, I have noticed this clicks as it changes from one auto-ranging function to another. You can do it going click, 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 click. I haven't worked out which one it is, because when that does happen, I then switch to the manual mode just by pressing one of these function buttons, you know, whichever way around I want to go. So you press that and it goes, right, okay, I'm on there. Then I'm on there, then I'm on there, just to make it sit on that particular function that you're trying to measure. Yeah, apart from that, it works fine. So what this is, they've changed this rotary knob thing on a screen, a multicolored screen here, rather than you twisting it around. But in principle, the way it works is identical. Instead of you pressing something, you can either press these, or you just let it guess what you're trying to do, which it works most of the time, it must be said. Yeah, on, off, of course it's nicely backlit, so you can always see it, that's for sure. And of course you've only got 3 inputs here because everything is controlled by the internal circuitry. There is unfortunately, one big drawback with this meter. I wonder if you can guess what it is. As you can see, I'm holding it with my hand because there's no stand at all. So I can't prop it up on my workbench like that and leave it like I like to. It has to lie flat. Okay, no biggie. I mean, they can lie flat, but there's not an option on this one, right? So there's a stand missing. Yeah, odd thing not to have on a multimeter, I think, honestly, not having a stand, but there we are. But as a multimeter, it works well. It's certainly accurate enough, and I have no problem with it. The price, as you can see, is on the screen again. Whether you think it's worth it for the money, that's up to you, of course. Any one of these meters would work for me. Now the range on here, I think these are 6,000 counts. Remember what I said at the beginning there, where it can only count up to sort of 2,000. This one's a 6,000, so it go to 5999, and then if it has to go to the next digit, you would lose 1 decimal place of accuracy. I've not found that an issue. After all, if you can measure on here 3.3 volts and 5 volts, that's about as much as what I ever do. For a professional use, this would be more than adequate, I'm pretty sure. It's not a fluke, but then again, well, what is, yeah? In fact, if I put myself across the probes, it should measure resistance, shouldn't it? So I'll hold the probes, and it says ohms. There we are, so it has worked out, and I'm 7 mega ohms resistance between my 2 hands. Yeah, not bad. Okay, right, that's that one. Short and sweet, pity about the stand missing. It powers off, of course, like every other meter here does, after, I don't know, 15 minutes. And they all beep, by the way, before they power off. They give you like a minute's notice, so you get a beep, 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 and you then spend the minute wondering where that's come from, especially in this workshop, because I've got so many beeping things. And just as I remember what it is that was beeping, it powers off anyway. So, yeah, okay, that's well, that's nice. Yeah, thanks, Kaiweets. It was good. Now, this is another multimeter that I bought a while back now on the recommendation of one of you guys. If I can find the comment, I'll put it up on the screen over there somewhere. Because he said, I've used this for 3 years or something, absolutely fine. So I thought, you know what? It's cheap enough. There's the price. I'm going to go just buy it. I mean, I can spend that much on a breakfast for 2 around here. So I thought, yeah, let's buy something that somebody's recommended. I like this one, I must admit. Yes, it does have a stand on the back. I like it. It's small, compact, hasn't got too many options on the old rotary switch here, so it does work out what to do very well. It does have a backlight, as you can see. I've got it on there, which I never switch on, by the way. But it works fine. Oh yes, and this is the one, if you can see that symbol there, square wave out. That was the one I used to test out my Bluetooth transmitter a little while ago, because that generates tones out from about 50 hertz up to a full kilohertz, or round about there. I don't think we ever got to the end of the range, did we? So now the difference between this one that I bought and the other one I bought, can you tell the difference? I mean, look at it. This is diminutive. It really is, and it's nicely diminutive. It's not like too small, because it's got quite a big display. If I get the angle right, so you can see it. Yeah. This one though, as I say, it's big, chunky, sits on my workbench a lot of the time, but this one I can hang up in the rack. I've got a sort of a rack over there with all my cables on, and this one gets hung up with the cables attached because it's so light that it doesn't pull them off the rack. So I know where this one is always, yeah? So that's the Aneng AN8008. Nice. I like both these, and they're sort of very different. I mean, this has got lots of options here, and this has got very few, and yet they're both really good, and I use them all the time. So this is another one that Kaiweets gave me to look at, the HT118A, and once again, it's chunky, it's big. Comparing this to the one I bought, the AstroAI. You can see they're about the same size. Yeah, this one's got a smaller display though. The digits are smaller compared to the AstroAI. Doesn't make a difference really in real life. I mean, they're big enough to see, that's for sure. It's got many more options on the old rotary switch than the other one had. Apart from that though, it's pretty standard really. It has a stand on the back, which is good. It means I can stand that up on my workbench too. In fact, in comparison to the AstroAI that I bought, so AstroAI, you think it's pretty similar. Well, let's get the stand out and have a look. And it's like, how do I get the stand out of this AstroAI? There's no way of getting it out. Look, that there is all part of the same moulding. That QC pass thing, it's all part of this moulding at the back. So I can't actually get this stand out. It's really, really stupid, right, and annoying. The only way to get it out is to sort of violently shake the meter. Like, no, I have to get something really thin and fine to get into this little slit here and just prise it open, because otherwise I can't get it out. And if I forget and close it, as I've done just now in the middle of a demo, I can't get the stand back out again. This one, I'm pleased to say, doesn't have that problem, as every other meter I've ever seen doesn't have it. You've always got some sort of indentation cut out or whatever where you can just lift it up. Yeah, right. It's beeping now. I don't know why it's beeping. Now this is also 6,000 counts, this HT118A, so it's pretty average, I suppose. Both the ones I bought are 9,000 counts. I can go to 9999 and it won't lose accuracy. And they weren't any more expensive, as you can see. You see the price on this one here, which is, you know, pretty average, isn't it, for this type of hobbyist, low-end professional multimeter, I guess. Perhaps I'm doing them a disservice by saying that. I'm sure Kaiweets will be quite annoyed if I say it's a low-end professional. I'm sure they're making it as professional as they can. But as I'm not a professional electronics engineer, and I can definitively say, hand on heart, yeah, this works as well as a fluke or whatever, I can't say that because I just haven't got the qualifications to say it. From my point of view, if I'm measuring voltage on some kind of microcontroller circuit, any one of these multimeters here are going to accurately tell me what the voltage is, yes. So I have got nothing else to base it on. For us hobbyists and professionals alike, I'm sure they would be absolutely fine. Now, one other thing this meter does, the Kaiweets one, it flashes the different colour input pros. If I take these out, you'll see, look, it's flashing these two now to say this is where you've got to plug it into. Whereas if I go to the 10 amp range around here, it says it's that one and that one. I'm guessing if I turn it to milliamps, that bottom one should light up. Yep, those two, there we are. So it's I suppose it's a nice safety feature for beginners to think, I don't know, do I keep it in this socket, do I plug it into that one? So it does tell you. Nice. Also tells you the maximum minimum, I think, as most of them do. So if you're measuring something, you can press that and it will sample the maximum and minimum, then you can go back and have a look if they're too fast to see. This one's got a light on it at the back, I think. Yeah, that light there. I don't think I've actually ever managed to switch it on. Let's have a look. Press. That's the screen light. Press again. No. Must be a long press, mustn't it? Long press and... oh, battery's low, it says. Battery's low. Oh, and the light is on. So if you're in a dark place or something, you can, yeah, light it up. That'd be good for electricians, I suppose, wouldn't it? Or, you know, you're crawling around in a cupboard somewhere, wanting to measure something. Yeah, but now the battery's low. Oh dear. Right, let's turn that back off. Is it off? No, it's still on. Must be a long press to turn it off. Yes, that's it. Fine. Okay, good. Yeah, I quite like that one. To be quite honest, I can't really tell a major difference between that Kaiweets one and the one I bought, the AstroAI. Apart from, I can't get the damn stand out the back. Yeah, but apart from that, they're pretty much of a muchness. Yeah. Now, if you were to ask me which one of these then would I accept as being the only multimeter I could have, I'd be hard pushed. The two on the left are obviously much chunkier, aren't they? Yeah, I mean, and I like chunky stuff. I can leave it on my workbench. I can see where it is. It's easy to use. Yeah, either of these two would be absolutely fine. I guess it comes down to price at the end of the day. The smaller ones though, as I say, I tend to store both these with probes and leads already in there, hanging up on the rack, so that when I think, right, I want to do some measuring on a breadboard or circuit board, I can quickly just grab it off the rack, complete with leads. And I guess there's no, I don't know, even though this is designed differently with this auto digit selection thingy, it doesn't really make it any different the way it works. So from that point of view, that doesn't either attract me nor detract me from it. Yeah, I can't make a decision. I guess the decision has to be yours. Now, these, which one was given to me? That was given to me, and that was given to me. So I bought with my own money that one and that one. And I like both of the ones I bought equally well, because they're different and yet they're the same, aren't they? This has got more range on here. This has got fewer ranges, a nice compact design but big digits. And the two that were given to me by Kaiweets, they are almost identical copies of these, even though the design is a little bit different. Yeah, one big one, one small one. I could live with any of these really, and I think it's down to you to make a decision whether you think a big chunky multimeter is what I want, or a little tiny one, or do what I do and you buy both. Oh, you might have noticed I managed to keep the backlight on here now. I think it was the function button and then turned it on. This one I didn't have to worry, that's always on anyway. These two, I can't get the light to stay on. There is a way though. I know there is. I'm pretty sure anyway. I know that's important to some people. Right, I'm stopping now because after all, at the end of the day, this is sort of all personal preference, isn't it? Right, okay, make your own mind up. If you've got any comments about which multimeter you have personally at home and that you've found absolutely great, even if it is a fluke, then do put the comments down, because other people are going to read that and go, I'll add that to my short list, or I'll have a look on the internet and just see what sort of price we're talking about. Yeah, it's always good to have first-hand experience. Well, that's why I ended up with one of these, isn't it? Because somebody recommended it very much. Cool. Let's call a halt there. If you like the video, please do give it a thumbs up. Stupidly, I didn't think that YouTube took much notice of thumbs up, but they do. They take a huge amount of notice. So please do give it a thumbs up if you think it is interesting, if nothing else, and if you've learned something. Don't forget to comment down below. YouTube also like people who comment on videos. It shows the interaction. Yeah. I only gleaned this from other sites where they go, "Oh, do this and do that," because I think, well, YouTube's never told me that before. Keeping it very quiet, aren't they? I suppose it's a no-brainer when you think about it. And I'll see you in the next video. I hope you're finding these videos useful and interesting. There are plenty more videos to choose, and a couple are shown below. And if you'd like to subscribe to this channel, just click on my picture below and enjoy the rest of the videos. Thanks for watching.